Hello everyone, I'm quite excited for this video. In this video, I'm going to show you a generic method to solve any algebraic equation. So let's just get right into it. Stay tuned to the end because I'll tell you what method this is and where you can read more about it. So here, I'm going to write out our first equation as you've probably seen in the thumbnail. So this is our first equation. Your first step will be to get f of x by moving everything to one side and equating it to 0. So here's step 1, get f of x. Let's just do that right now. So our f of x over here will be equal to, f of x is on the left side where we have 0, and what I did is I just move x to the 8 on this side, so we have negative x to the 8 plus this one. So that's our f of x. Step 2 is to get f prime of x, which is going to be the derivative of the above equation. So let me just do that real quick. So here is the derivative of the equation. We have negative 8x to the 7, same thing over here, and here we apply the chain rule. So we have 3 times this thing squared times the derivative of the term inside, which is this one. So let me just write over here our step 2, which is get f prime of x. So next we'll create a table. So we need to create this table where we have x, f of x, f prime of x, and this equation here, which is x minus f of x over x prime of x. So I'll write here our step 3, create a table. So now the next step, step 4, is basically take a guess. Just guess literally the value of x. Here, I'm just going to go with a guess of 4 because I feel like that. And now, what you'll do is take 4 and substitute it in each of these. Now, you can do the calculations, but I've already done that, and I'm just going to put the values in here. So these are the values when I substitute it in these equations. Now, what the next step is take this value you got here and make it your new x. So this now becomes the new x, and we'll keep repeating this process. So I've already done this in a calculator, but what you'll find is x will progress like this. So it's a pretty long list of values, but basically first we'll get this, and then this, and then this, and then this, all the way until this value will repeat itself. So basically after we get x, we compute new x, and we fill out the table with the new x until the value of x converges. So you'll realize once we use this new x, we'll get another new x, and then once we use that new x, this is the new x we'll get. If you keep going, eventually you'll reach a value that repeats itself, and that is actually going to be our final answer. Now let's double check the answer, right? So let's substitute this value into the original equation and see if that's actually the value of x. So on the left hand side we have this expression. I'm going to throw this in a calculator with this x and see what we get. So on the left hand side we get 76.4155, and let me do the right hand side. It's just x to the 8. For that we also get 76.4155. So this is actually the value of x for this equation. Now let's try it again, repeating it with another equation and following these steps. So now this is our other example, which you must have also seen in the video thumbnail. And now let's apply the same method and solve for the value of x. So first step is solve for f of x. So here I've computed our f of x. We basically again take this one, move it to the other side and make this 0. So that will be f of x equals x squared plus square root of x plus 300 minus this term. Now let's take the derivative and compute f prime of x. So this is our f prime of x. We've taken the derivative of this. X squared is 2x. Square root of x is 1 over 2 square root of x. This one is 0 because it's derivative of a constant, and then derivative of this one is minus 5 times the term to the 4th times derivative of the term, which is 1 minus x squared. Now, next step is create our table. We already have the table over here with the values filled in. And the fourth step is guess x. Okay, I'll just guess a value of 2. Now, I've already computed it, so I'll write the values here. So I've gone in and computed the first two values of x. So we'll have x equals 2, and then this is f of x, this is f prime of x using these equations, and this is our new x. Then taking that new x, we make it the new x, and again repeat the process, we get this. And then after this one, I again repeated it several times, and I'll just show here the values of x I got. So here are now the subsequent values of x, and we notice that at 2.79022216, this value repeats. Now let's use this value and substitute it in our original equation and see if it checks out. So first, I'll substitute this one in the left hand side and see what we get. We get 309.4557, and let me substitute now on the right hand side to see what we get. We also get 309.4557, and this is the answer for x. So you see, this method is really effective. Apply it to solve any equation with real roots, it's going to work. And as I promised, I'm going to tell you what this method is called and where you can learn more about it. It's actually called the Newton-Raphson method, and you can look it up to learn more about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers.